Welcome back to God Factor, where we raise awareness about God's invincible hand working behind the scene. Fasten your seatbelts, get comfortable, and open up your hearts to receive from today's podcast with Lola and Josephine.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of God Factor. Thank you for joining us today. So, before I get started, how are you guys doing? I know the summer has been super crazy, for me at least, but I hope you guys are taking time out to travel, to spend time with family and friends and not just working. I'm also speaking to myself when I say this because I work a lot, but you know what? It's good to take that time out and just to hang out with friends and family and travel and take a vacation somewhere because you deserve it. Please, once the summer ends, the real work begins. So make sure you take that vacation. If you're thinking about it, stop thinking and just do it because you're going to regret it afterwards. Anyway, now I'm talking too much. But yes, in today's podcast, before that, last week's episode ended the Divine Arrangement series. I know you all are so sad because of that, but you know what? We have more important topics to talk about, so we have to move on eventually. If this is your first time listening to this podcast, take a pause. Don't even listen to this one. Just go back to our very first episode and listen to the Divine Arrangement series. It's been awesome listening to stories and experiences. It's just been fabulous. I'm actually sad that we're ending it, but like I said, we have more things to talk about. So make sure you check out that series. Okay, guys? In today's podcast, I'm just going to be introducing a new series. As you may have already guessed, I'm the only one here today. Josephine, for those of you who don't know, and Lola, my mom, who's usually here, isn't here today. And that's because I'm going to be introducing a new series. And this new series has to do with something that's very important to young adults of today and youths. So this new series is called Dating. Dating. Sorry guys, I'm so extra. But yeah, dating. I personally, for one, have had a lot of questions about dating, and I've asked my mom, these questions, and to be honest with you, I don't really agree with her with some of her answers, but you know what? I'm just going to let you guys have a feel of it in the next couple of weeks. So I won't really delve too much into that. But get ready for us to argue just a little bits. My mom is what? She's like 52 this year or 53. God, I can't remember. But around that age. And I am 22 right now. So like I always tell her, the way people or parents or whatever it is, whatever you want to call it, the way they did things back then in the 60s, in the 50s, is not the way we young adults, youths, vibrant people of nowadays do things. So I have a lot of questions about this dating thing. So with that being said, some of the things that you guys should expect to hear or even listen to or to learn from these series are: what is dating? Is there even such a thing as dating? Secondly, is there such a thing as kingdom dating or Christian dating? Do Christians even date? Those are some of the questions that I have, at least. So, and if so, if there is such a thing as kingdom dating, what is kingdom dating? And another thing is, what is the difference between worldly dating and kingdom dating? You know how people of the world, to say, do or date, and how Christians date? Is there a difference between those two? What are the content of dating? And also, what should we as people going into dating, what should we be aware of before even thinking about dating anybody? And I want to open it up to you guys. If you have any questions about dating, I'm only one person. My mom's only the second person, but we only have so many questions, and we know there are some awesome questions out there too. So if you guys have any questions, make sure to leave us a comment in the comment section on our podcast. We want to hear what you have to say about this dating thing. Also, just so you know, we will try to be as practical as possible, but most of our responses will also be biblical. I mean, we're all Christians. I'm assuming that we're all Christians, and if you aren't, this is something that you can also take and learn from what we're saying too as well. It also applies to you in all honesty. So a lot of our responses will date back to what the Bible says in general about, what dating is, or how kingdom people are supposed to date. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. This is just an introduction to this next series. Now, before the next week, I want you guys to start thinking about some of these questions and just leave it down in the comment section, and we will try our best to answer most of them, or even all of them. We'll try our best to answer all of them. So thank you guys. And before I end this podcast, like I said in last week's episode, we opened up a YouTube channel. It's also called God Factor. See, if you type in God Factor on YouTube, it will bring it up. We recognize that a lot of people aren't really familiar with Podbean, which is understandable. I wasn't also, like, I just heard of it and I was like, sure, why not? But people are mostly familiar with YouTube, so our podcast will also be going on YouTube. So please make sure to subscribe, to comment, and to like our YouTube channel. Yeah. And yeah, please make sure to share this podcast too as well to your friends and families. And also, going back to the YouTube channel, you can also leave your comments there, and we're going back and forth from Podbean to YouTube. So you can also leave your comments on YouTube, and we will definitely check them out. And that concludes our podcast for today. Make sure to tune in next week as we talk about what is dating. Thank you, everyone, and have a blessed week.